Hello everyone, it's William here at Allegory Gallery. Sorry I'm coming a little bit late today. I've been making all the round stops all around town and I finally got here to my home office to show you new things today. Hopefully you're going to like these. We added some new items into the online store. Just a few. My nephew has another ball game tonight, so he doesn't have many here in town. It feels like there's a lot because I just did this I think on Wednesday with you or whatever, Monday, I can't remember. But he doesn't have many in town that we're able to actually get to just by walking to. So I'd like to see as many as I can. So he has one tonight, and I'm going to be going to that, and that starts at 6 p.m. So we don't have a lot of time. So I figured today we're just going to do a quick viewing of some of the latest gemstones that we put into the online store today, and we'll just chat a little bit. So if you are tuning in, please let me know that you're tuning in. Say hello in the comments down below. Or off to the side. I guess in the case of YouTube, they're often off to the side. So let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're from, how your day's going. I hope it's going well for you. It's been a busy day here. You can probably hear the noise coming out of coming into my windows. People are weed eating and lawn mowing, and there's some construction going on. But it is, oh, excuse me. But it is too nice to not have the windows open. So hopefully you can still hear me okay and not too much of the background noise. We've got birds chirping like crazy. Don is asking, how does his game go the other night? It went well. They had a rough time, but I think I don't think they're going to continue playing. I think that's it. I think they won by 1 point. The scoreboard wasn't working, so we had to keep track in our head. And it was called due to lightning. It started lightning out, so they can't play if they see any lightning, and then it started raining. So we had some bad thunderstorms that night. So the game was called, but at the point that it was called, I believe they were up by 1 point. That's what we had in our minds, that we had tracked it, and what I think we heard the coaches saying. So, as much as we try to, my mom came in late. And my mom, usually when she's there, she used to keep score, sometimes officially, for my brother when he was doing ball games back in the day, in the 90s and 2000s. And she would do sometimes official scorekeeping for some of the teams. So she knows how to keep score really well. And she usually does when she's there from the beginning. But with my niece taking soccer or having soccer games, at the same time, my nephew is having baseball games. She tries to split her time between the grandkids as much as she can. So our official scorekeeper wasn't there, but I think it was 8-7, and they won. So that was nice. My nephew had a hard time. He just was having one of those days where you can't shake things off really well. So I'm hoping to see him tonight, and I didn't even get a chance to talk to him afterwards because we all jumped in our cars because the rain was coming. So I'm hoping to get a better chance to say hi, and hopefully he has a better mental state for this game today. He usually does. He plays first base. And they've not gotten in a lot of practices. I guess the coaches have been busy with other things. I don't know. But a lot of their practices have been canceled. So he usually plays first base and pitches. But one of the coaches has one of their sons in at first base. So he's playing second base, which is a position he's never played before. So he feels a little frustrated because he's played first base, pitching, catching, shortstop, I think, and even third, I think, at times. But he's never played second, and they have him on second base. So he's a little bit out of his element, especially without any practice sessions. He did get to pitch, but by the time he got to pitch, there's this rule that if a kid, because it's little league, right? So if a kid walks, or if in one inning 5 kids are walked, then the coaches pitch to the kids. And so it doesn't matter how many times they change a pitcher in there. So he got on to pitch after about the first pitcher was getting tired and walked about 4 kids in that inning. So he got only a few throws in, and he had walked 1 kid warming up, kind of. And so the coach had to step in. So that was a little bit frustrating. He was on second base, which isn't his normal thing. He did catch, though, for the first 3 innings, and I think he had a good time doing that. But he also struck out twice, which was not fun. So his head was just not in the game. He's normally, a good player. He's normally actually the cleanup batter. He's 4th in line most of the time. So, and that's, Marianne, as you said, that's what I wanted to tell him. These are, he's probably, hopefully, going to have a long career in baseball if he wants to, through elementary, through high school. These are, just the times to play whatever position you're given the best that you can and learn that position. And it is frustrating, especially when you don't have that, when you're young and you don't have that mindset of looking larger view so much. But it is one thing, but try telling someone that young that it's a learning experience. It's not easy. And he just wants to get in there and pitch or play first base like he's normally used to. But this will make him, if he takes advantage of this and he really, plays to the best of his ability and learns the position and where you have to back up and where you have to go, it will make him a really good overall player, So I hope to talk to him a little bit after the last game, but didn't get a chance to. But I'm sure his parents did. I'm sure they did. My brother played for a long time, all through elementary school, all through high school, and even into college. So I think he'll be, I'm sure they've talked to him about that. So I'm going to be going down to see him here at 6 o'clock. So we're not going to make this too long, but I just wanted to catch up with you all. We did add 5 or 6 new strands of gemstones in the online store. If you didn't see that, you can go into the gemstone collection and check those out. Or you can go into the latest editions. The latest editions collection is always the most recent things we've added. Now, that does not mean that it's the most recent things we've restocked. So that is one of those things. I try and let you know when we restock things. Like we restocked the mermaid glass just the other day. And we restocked some of the polymer clay beads just the other day as well. We also restocked some of the Ethiopian beads, the Afghani, I think, or the Thai brass bells. So if you were looking for some of that kind of stuff, the Thai brass bells, the Ethiopian metal beads, including those cool kind of crosses. I love those. So those are in the online store and restocked. Yeah. And then we found we're finding lots of stuff. Now that we have moved the online store shipping over, we are now like going through box by box of things that are left over that were nowhere actually. And we found some gemstones here and we added them to the online store today. So I'm going to show them to you. They're there at allegorygallery.com. If you would like to see them, you can go right there and see them. But videos are better than pictures, which are better than words, which is better than nothing. So we are going to take a look at those today. Let's see. Susan says that mermaid glass is awesome, by the way. I think so too. It's gorgeous, very fun. Donna says, I got my Very Perry kit and it is stunning. Yeah, the Dreamtime kit. That's officially called the Dreamtime kit from us. And I love it. I want to say there's 1 left or 2 left. There is, I believe, 1 Mermaid Serenade kit left, if I'm not mistaken. So if you've not grabbed the Mermaid Serenade kit, there's only 1 left. If we sell that one out before the end of this weekend, we will do a Zoom live in the Design Challenge group, and we'll all hang out. As many of you who want to that purchase that kit, remember, it's only open to people who purchase the kit. So if you purchase the kit and you want to hang out and make stuff with me and Andrew on a live Zoom session together, this is live. We're going to be able to talk to each other. We're going to be able to see each other. This is probably one of the first times that we're going to actually be able to interact with you all, or some of you in person. Some of you we've never met except for online. So if you get that Mermaid Serenade kit, we're going to get to hang out on Zoom together. All you need is a computer or a phone that can have the Zoom app on it, and we'll just give you the code and the password, and you'll dial in, and we'll start making stuff together. It'll be a lot of fun. You can point the phone or whatever at your workspace if you're not comfortable with your face showing. But remember, it's just a group of friends. We're just going to hang out and make stuff. So I hope you will take advantage of that offer and purchase that one last kit. There are about, I don't know what it is, 15 or 14. There's a tail. There's a Barnaby tail. There are 14 or 15, I think, of the Royal Road kits still left. So we will do the same thing with the Royal Road if it sells out. Since the due date for it isn't until July, we'll give you a little bit longer than the end of this weekend for that one to sell out. Maybe the next 2 weeks or so, we'll do something like that. And then we'll decide if we're going to do the live Zoom on that. But right now, we only need to sell, I think, one more Mermaid Serenade, I think it is, to sell out on that. So if you have not gotten that, please grab one. Hang out with us on Zoom then. This will be the first time that we'll ever have done this. And it will be the first time that you will actually see me making anything or attempting to make anything live. Normally that's Andrew's thing, but I got volunteered to do it. And so I said, hey, why not? Let's make stuff together. I always say, you know, beginners should feel like when they're in our group, they should feel like they have every right to post and every right to show their designs, even if they're just beginning. And I would consider myself a beginner because I do help design things with a lot of people in the store. And we have ideas for things, but the actual construction of things is something I don't often do. So I do consider myself still a beginner maker. And so I think it'll be fun. And it's a bunch of friends hanging out together. But yes, the Very Perry kit, which is the Dreamtime kit. I don't know how many of those we have left. I just looked at it today. We have been going through backstock of the kits at Star Cottage Studio since they're all there now and they all moved over there. Some of them, when we put them into stock, was back when I was still shipping everything every day. So I just knew what things were. So I didn't care so much about labeling stuff. And, you know, it was a little willy-nilly back then because I knew what things were. As we've gotten help, things have changed. And so we're going back through some of the stock and giving things correct labels so that I don't have to be involved in, you know, finding things and helping with all of that all of the time. And we found some bead blends and some kits that we didn't know we had any more of. And we found 1 or 2 here or there, or sometimes, like, I think we found 6 of a certain bead blend here earlier today. And we're adding those to the online store too. So if you've recently looked at the inspiration kit section and the luxury bead blend section, take a look again, because there may be more out there for you to choose from. We still have some that I can't figure out where they came from, so I have to talk to Andrew. He's been in Pittsburgh all day today, and next time we're at the cottage together for any, you know, kind of time when we can sit down and look at some stuff, we're going to look at some of these and get them in the online store as well. So we are going through and really kind of combing through our kits backstock, our luxury bead blend backstock. So if those are things you like, there are some that have just popped back into the online store that you may have never seen if you're new to us, especially, or you may have missed through the, you know, the months that we've had this, well, the years now that we've had this new online store. So I do urge you, if you like our bead blends and you like our kits, to take a look through the kit collection in the online store and the luxury bead blend collection, and really see if there's anything there that you might want to add to your cart. All right. I'm glad, Donnie, you like the Dreamtime kit. I think it's beautiful. And I hope we sell out of that one too, because I think it's worth it. I think people will really enjoy it. And for the price, I think you get a lot of good stuff in it. Hello, June. Let's see here. June was saying, don't you need a mermaid kit to make something with everyone? Yes, I will have one. Don't worry. I'll have stuff. Let's see here. Andrew says, I think the next kit will be jungle themed, like the Henry Rousseau painting. That would be interesting. I think people might like that. Sandra says, volunteer or voluntold, right? Exactly. Andrew said, it's getting more and more official with us, right? We have to have a system since the shipping is in a different building now. Yeah, so everything, I've talked a little bit about what it takes to get things into the online store. Everything gets a SKU. Everything gets, you know, what they need. So it should be, it should be getting better. We just have to go through some old stuff. You know, no one likes to go through stuff that's already done and redo it. Who likes that? But it's necessary. So it's one of those necessary evils that we're working through now. Marianne says, I don't see the mermaid kit on the website, so someone must have bought it. Awesome. I just saw an order come in, so I think that was it. So thank you all so much for that. We do appreciate it very, very much. So we'll be doing the Zoom. Looks like we sold them before the end of the weekend. So thank you all so much for helping us sell out on that. We will next be pointing you toward Royal Road, which is a beautiful blend of golds and deep, deep reds. And we'll also be doing a workshop on that on Zoom. Not a workshop, kind of a workshop, but a make together on Zoom if we sell out of that here in the next 2 weeks or so. All right. So thank you all for listening to me talk on and on. I hope you are all doing well out there. Like I said, I'm not going to be here too long today because I do have a ball game starting in about a half hour, and they usually start early. They never start late. They always start early, which is maybe kind of good, but I always miss out on the very first part of it. So I'm going to close this window. Is what I'm going to do, because somebody just started weed eating behind me and it's really loud. That's much better. That's much better, actually. So what else? Did I have anything else? Andrew's been in Pittsburgh at Contemporary Craft all day. He might be staying there until late tonight. He also said he might be coming home earlier than he thought, but wants to avoid traffic out there. So we'll see. I know he's tuning in here. Maybe he'll let us know. If you are in the Pittsburgh area, we hope you'll stop by. It would be fun to hang out with Andrew, I'm sure, and make stuff with him. He is in Contemporary Craft on Butler Street, and he is the artist in residence for the metal program. So if you want to use their tools, I think it's $35 a day to use their workshop space and their tools, or $15 an hour if you're not going to be there for very long, which I think is a really good deal. They have an hydraulic press. They have various rolling mills. They have an anvil. They have lots of stuff there. There's a there's a torch, and there's enameling kilns, and I'm trying to in my head go around the room of what they have. There's a lot of stuff there that you can use to make wonderful things. So Andrew will be there at least for a little while. I don't know if he's staying late. He was going to be there until 9. And I'm sure if someone shows up, he'll be there for you if you show up in the next few minutes at least. But he may come home early too. We might get some weather here. I don't know what's going to happen. So don't like him out on the road too much if the weather's going to get bad. So kind of keeping an eye on that and on what supplies he has to make stuff that he needs to make. If there's no one there to kind of hang out with, sometimes it's easier just to come home and make stuff in his own studio. So, but if you are in Pittsburgh and you want to hang out with Andrew, he's there right now. Go down to Butler Street at Contemporary Craft and go hang out. All right. So let me flip this camera around, and we're going to look at some gemstones that we just added to the online store. And I do want to thank you all. I got some orders yesterday for some of the seed beads and the gemstones we showed you in yesterday's live. Sometimes when we show like only 3 or 4 strands of gemstones, I never know if anybody's going to have any interest. But those aquamarine cubes, y'all like those. So we sold some of those. Sold a good bit of the Venetian vintage seed beads. Few different colors of those. So thank you. Thank you for that. You know, every little bit helps. Every day we make a little bit of money. Today in the physical store, we had one customer sell. A lot of people stop by, so we thank you all if you're out there and watching and you stop by the store today. Thank you for stopping in. But I think we had one sale. Is one of our regulars who they just got into town. They are now retired and they have a big camper and they take it into across the country, I think to Arizona a lot. And she makes jewelry. She travels the country buying from various antique shops and things like that. And she makes turquoise jewelry and sells it. But she's now back in Ligonier because she's going to be in the Ligonier Country Market, which is our big market that starts this weekend. Actually, this Saturday is the opening day, I believe, for the market. So that's going to be fun. Hopefully that will bring a lot of people into town. Hopefully people that will stay in town. If you're coming to the market and you're watching this, please come to town. A lot of times what ends up happening is people go to the market and then they don't actually come up into the town. But there are a lot of wonderful stores in town, and we hope that you'll come to visit us and say hello. Market season is upon us, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of good stuff there. It's not quite what you would consider a farmer's market. They call it a country market. Farmer's market has a lot of mostly just produce and things. This has produce and food and things happening there like that, but it also has jewelry and wood products and, you know, handmade goods. So it is a country market, and we do hope that you will visit. It's one of the largest, I think, in Pennsylvania. Um, and so it's really a nice market. So I also did a around the town video, if you know our around the town series, where we take you to different spots around town and show you them. I did a market cleanup day. It's usually a few days before the market opens, and they do clean up the field and what it takes to get ready for the country market. So if you want to watch that, it is on our YouTube and our Facebook channel um, under the Around the Town series playlist. In that playlist, you should be able to find that. It's been a few years now since I've done that, but I don't think a lot changes. It's a lot of work every year to get ready for the market, and you know, for people to, I think, appreciate. Sometimes I've done a lot of events in my life, events in New York. I've done events here. We've done British car events a lot. We've done beading events. I've done Harry Potter book signing events in New York City. Every event that you go to takes an immense amount of work behind the scenes that if people attending the event don't realize, you've done your job well. So, you know, we used to have a British car event called the Summer Party every year at the business I used to work at. And people would come in, and it was a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And there would be drag racing that we put on. There would be a concours d'elegance. There would be usually like a gymkhana. We'd do a drive-in movie a lot of times. We would do sometimes a hill climb. We would do a lot of different things, and there'd be camping. We camp in the field. There would be vendors set up in the polo field outside of my boss always called it the polo field, outside of the business, so people could come and camp and have fun. And we do a big car show in the streets of a nearby town, and it was a ton of fun. And now they're going to play music outside my window, which is super loud, and hopefully Facebook doesn't catch and block this video, or YouTube as well, because it's a popular song. So hopefully this will change. But anyway, we used to put on these events, and people would come and they would have so much fun. And you know, it would be such a fun time for people, and they still talk about it years and years after they stopped having the event because the owner passed away. And the way that the estate has been divvied up, the business does not own that field anymore that people would camp in and vendor at and things like that. So it's harder to put on that event. And people would come and have a great time. And what they didn't realize is that the work for that event literally started months and months and months before the event, even though it was a yearly event. It was the same thing. I mean, there were differences here and there, but it was the same thing mostly every year. The work still started months in advance. It took almost every staff member to do some part of that event. And in addition to their normal work, the staff never got the weekend off. So they would work from Monday one week through the weekend until the next weekend. If you had vacation time, you could possibly take it, but everything was so busy, you had to work up until that point, run through the whole weekend with all the hundreds of people that would come, sometimes thousands in the good days, and then clean up and getting everything back sorted together in your own life before you could get back to your regular job took the week after. And so nobody really realized that. I mean, some people would, comment about thanks for all your hard work, but they didn't really understand how much went into it. And I do believe that if you put that kind of work into things and people don't see it, you've done your job really, really well. And it's when things go wrong and people see the work that you're trying to do during the event, or when something happens that you're not prepared for, that people realize that it's hard work, right? And that's not what you want to have happen, except you do want people to know that you're working hard, right? That this is not an easy event. A lot of people would offer to help, and unless you had them for months, you can't help. You can't really have a lot of help for certain things. So when you put on something like the country market, which is something that happens every weekend for most of the summer, it takes a lot of work to get ready for it, and it takes a lot of work every weekend when you're getting things going. So if you have not seen that video, please check the Around the Town playlist and give that video a watch, just to see what a small town goes through to put on a big event like the Ligonier Country Market. And if you're in town, please stop by. All right. So anyway, that was a long way around, but just trying to, I like to let people know, because not a lot of people put on events, but a lot of people go to events. And please, please, please appreciate those who actually put the energy into putting the event on. Even if you think it's the same thing every year, oh, they're just doing the same thing. It still takes sometimes months and months of planning and prep work just to put an event on with no changes at all. None. So there is a lot of work to things, and it changed the way I look at things and how I appreciate things when I go to an event. If you can't see things going wrong, if you don't see people running around like crazy and, running after this and cleaning up that, that means that they have thought of pretty much anything that could go wrong and they're ready for it. So I do hope that 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 is appreciated by people. And I just ask you to keep that in mind, because when things look like they're going well, that means that it took somebody or somebody's a lot of time to make sure that that happens. And as Andrew said, that's like the Great Beat Extravaganza. It's a virtual event. People just think we just jump on camera and, we spend an hour and a half with you, and it's easy. It's not. And, we have 4 major GBE events every year. That's what it's looking like we're doing. And every one takes months of preparation in advance for everything that we do. And so that's why we appreciate when you all go out there and watch the Great Beat Extravaganza. It's one weekend for all of you. It's really like, it's Friday night for the I just blanked on it for the preview party, and then it's Saturday and Sunday. So it's just a weekend for all of you out there. But for us, we have started planning the next event already, and that's in July. So we've started planning actually before. So it takes a lot of time, even for a virtual event, for something like that. So please do, when you go to an event and things look like, oh, everything's happy and easy, and it took a long time to make things happy and easy for the people who come to the event. So just keep that in mind. Try to keep that in mind if you don't already. All right. Oh no, looks like people are under tornado watches. I don't know what's supposed to happen here, so I hope everyone out there is okay. Andrew says, I went to the Harry Potter event even before I knew William. Yeah, and I used a lot of the expertise that I gained in the British car event to prepare for the Harry Potter event. We had a lot of pre-sales, and we had a lot of things that needed to be just, somebody would come and pick them up, and we needed a way to have all of that happen. And I was able to follow a formula that we had created and modify it a little bit for the way that we did registrations for our car events. So it was actually one of the easiest, I was told it was one of the easiest events they had as far as picking up things that people had pre-bought the book, which I was happy about. And it was a super cute event. They had an actual live owl in the building. So that was fun. People enjoyed that. So, okay, before I run out of time, because I'm down to 20 minutes here before I have to leave, I'm going to show you some gemstones. Just a few today. Not a lot to show you, but they are new to the online store. And you can find them in the latest editions collection. And let me flip the camera here. All right. Donna says, my dad was a member of a British car club in Montgomery, Alabama. I probably know that club. I've probably sent them, if they have a car show, I've probably sent them free stuff for their car show at some point in time from the Roadster factory because Montgomery, Alabama British Car Club sounds very familiar to me. Sounds very familiar to me. So my guess is at some point, because I used to be the one who would send freebies and door prizes and things like that to the clubs. And we actually went to a lot of the clubs. He was restoring a Jaguar. Nice. Our business, our company that I work for only specialized in Triumph and MGB. But I know most of the shows, because a lot of these cars, there's not enough of them just to have a specific make show. So they would combine all the British cars together. Okay, first up, we have these beautiful 8mm faceted Rondelle Amazonite beads. Look at the color. Look at the beautiful color on these. This is approximately an 8-inch strand. An 8-inch strand. Now these ones you may have to search for. I think this was a restock. We found more of them in the back. So this may not pop up right away if you check out the latest editions, but this is, these are $18 a strand only. And these are really nice quality for 18 bucks. Like I said, these are old prices, everyone. Old prices. $18 for a strand like this. Right now, that's probably, you're normally probably looking somewhere around $24 at least. These are $18 a strand for an 8-inch strand. And we have 2 strands available at least. I don't know what there was already in the online store, but these are the 8mm faceted Rondelles. All right. Told you I don't have too much for you today, but I'm going to show you what I got. Show you what I got. Next up, these are one of those more pricey strands that we saw yesterday. These are white opal, diamond cut, faceted Rondelles. Let's see, everyone's talking about cars now. Donna says we had to sell it along with all the pieces and parts after he passed away. That's sad. They never got it restored. But Jaguars, they are beautiful cars. I love some of the old Jaguars. And Susan says, my father-in-law had a Triumph Spitfire. One of my coworkers has a Spitfire. Loves his Spitfire. People who have a Spitfire seem to really love them. My family has 2 TR6s. My mom and aunt have 2 TR6s, Triumph TR6, that my dad did complete frame-up restorations on. Did everything. He did not do the engine work. He could have, but that wasn't his specialty. His specialty is body work generally. So we had the engines done by someone else. But my aunt's car actually was found in a barn cut in two different pieces. It was cut from one door to the other door, right across the body of the car. So my dad took the frame and rebuilt the frame and welded the frame together and made it all secure. And then everything down to the upholstery and everything else, the dashboards, everything was redone and put in by him and my mom and my aunt. They worked on each other's cars together. And so we have two TR6s in the family that my mom and aunt now are too afraid to drive because they don't want anything to happen to them. So they sit in the garage, unfortunately, most of the time. But I do hope that once in a while, maybe they'll think about getting them out sometime. We do take them out to, make sure that they still start up and that we, refresh the gas every once in a while and take them out for a drive. But they don't drive them very often anymore. They drove them a good bit to car shows and whatnot when they first had them restored. We also were going to restore a TR250 and an MGB. The MGB was going to be mine, but that just never got off the ground before I went to college. And then my brother had an accident and had a fire in the garage where some of these cars and parts were stored. So unfortunately, a lot of those probably will never see the light of day, but the two TR6s did. The two TR6s did. Diane's dad rebuilt a Chevy Nova. Nice. So this is, again, diamond cut. These are, again, 8 millimeter white opal, and they are 8-inch strands. These are higher end strands. You can see they're really pretty. And these are $28 per strand. $28 per strand. I wish they would drive them more often, Marianne. But, old British cars there are jokes, a lot of jokes about old British cars and how they leak and how things happen and catch fire sometimes. And my dad is around more. As many of you know, my dad had some issues with drugs and alcoholism as I was growing up. So I think their fear was that once the cars were done, they were afraid that if he wouldn't be around to fix them, they would lose their cars after, spending, I think my mom's car took 15 years or so over time to rebuild. And it was her kind of dream to have it rebuilt. So they were afraid that if something would happen, no one would be around to help them restore or fix them. But my dad is much, much better. And I do hope that they decide to bring them out of retirement. And maybe when my mom is retired, she'll bring her car out of retirement and drive it around a little more. If nothing else, maybe someday I'll be able to purchase it from her, and I'll give it a lot of love, that's for sure. Or my aunt's, even if she's selling before my mom, who knows? My aunt redid her car. My aunt redid her car as original, so she stuck to a truly kind of original look. The only thing that's questionable on her car really is the paint. Whether they did the paint in that paint color in her year specifically or not. There are some records that seem to show they did. So her paint is a color called Mallard. I think it's actually called Mallard Blue, but it looks more green. Maybe it's Mallard Green. It's a really pretty green-blue color. Speaking of green, these are Kombaba Jasper. Kombaba Jasper, and these are, do they say on here, 8 millimeter Rondelles as well. These are smooth Rondelles in Kombaba Jasper, and these are only $10 a strand for the 8-inch strand. And my mom did her car the way she wanted to. So she put louvers in the hood. Now my mom's, most louvers, when you put them in the hood of a car, they stick up. My mom, the louver shop, called them upside down and backwards. Instead of sticking up and facing front, they go down and face in, because she didn't want the louver sticking up. She wanted a nice flat kind of hood look, and it actually looks really cool. They had to flip the what they call the bonnet over and do the louvers in backwards and upside down, but it gives it a really cool look. My mom did her car in black paint with a very light gold speckle through it, with gold racing stripes down the side and chromed engine components. So her car is definitely not as original, but it is everything that she wanted her car to be. And she was offered a lot of money at various points in time to purchase her car, but she always said no. She always said no. Next up, we have some diopside for you. Let me see if I can see if this tells me. These are 4mm faceted round diopside beads. Aren't they gorgeous? And these are $22.50, I believe, or $22. I can't read the writing. $22.50 or $22, somewhere around $22 for, and this is a full strand. This is a big strand. 4mm faceted round diopside. And Barnaby, he's trying to relax on my lap again, but I'm moving around too much. He keeps waking up and looking at me funny. Huh, Barn? Huh, my buddy. He was outside relaxing in the catio before I came home. There you go, bud. So these are in the online store now, around $22, $22.50 a strand for the diopside, 4mm faceted rounds. Not many of these available. I think there are 2-3 strands of them. But look at that beautiful, beautiful color. Andrew said that's called he's giving me stink eye, right? Not really stink eye so much. He's just like, Dad, can you just calm down just a little bit? Just a little bit. Plus the light is shining down on him, so he doesn't like that light shining in his eye, right? Who would when you're trying to take a nap? But you're taking a nap on my lap, so we gotta do what we gotta do. Oh, buddy. He's a good boy. All right. And, oh, there he's gonna go. He says, I've had enough. Thank you very much. We'll sit together later, buddy. We'll sit together later. And one of our helpers was like, these are so pretty. How did we miss these? And I know I've shown these before, and then they got misplaced somewhere in the back. These are Chunky Monkey Labradorite. And I think these are around $31. Beautiful, chunky Labradorite. Look at that beautiful flash. A lot of these have flash. It just depends. A lot of it's on the edge. It just depends how they catch the light. It's not going to catch the light every time. But if you move them, most of them, if you move them around, you will see a flash in the majority of the stones on here. These are some nice, heavy, chunky drops. And I love them. Our helper was like, oh my goodness, I love these. I believe we also have these in the online store still in amethyst. I want to say we have them in amethyst. And I'm going to try and look here just to see if I'm right. And see what we still have in amethyst. Because if you like these, maybe we don't. We may have sold out on them finally. Because for a while we had them in amethyst, and I think green garnet, I want to say. Maybe we're all sold out on all of them. So I think the Labradorite is maybe the only thing we have left in these big chunky ones. And like I said, I think, let me just go to the latest editions collection here. Latest editions. These are $31.25 only. That's old prices. $31.25 for a full strand like that of these beautiful. Let me just show you. There are only 2 strands. So I'm going to show you both of them. just so you know, like, you know, we don't just pick the prettiest strand to show you. I just pulled one at random out of the bag, out of the two. So they are equally beautiful strands with beautiful flash on them. And like I said, you'll catch the flash in some ways and not in others. But a lot of these stones on here have that pretty flash. See, there you catch it on that edge. There's a little bit of flash there. So most of them have some sort of flash in them, just depending on how the light hits them. But there, that one was standing out right there. Marianne's cats are sending our cat messages. Secret decoder rings they need, right? Look at that one right there. Oh, it looks so plain, right? Look, it looks so plain, like, ugh. And then you hit that flash. So beautiful, beautiful strands. $31.25 each. Only 2 of them available in the online store right now for as long as they last. All right. And that, my friends, is what I have to show you today. That's what I've got to show you today. I'm going to put these back. These are all wrapped up really nicely because these, you don't want these to clang together too much because they're nice, big, chunky. They have some heft behind them, some nice heft behind them. I'm going to put these back right now in case our cats try to knock them off my table. At least they'd be falling onto carpeting, but we want these to be safe and arrive to you safely, so I'm going to wrap them back up right now. $31.25 for those. Diane said that's such a good price. It definitely is. It definitely is a good price. Like I said, these are old prices, everyone. Old prices because, you know, these are things like I keep saying. Let me flip the camera around because I feel funny talking without anything there. And let me bring this back up. So these are old prices. And what I mean when I say old prices is these are prices that when we purchase these, whenever we purchase them, that's the price we got. Or that's the formula that we worked up. These have been sitting sometimes for some of these probably for up to a year or more. Because we're finding things in boxes that I totally forgot we even had. So written on these bags are these prices and these formulas that we use to get the prices. And so, you know, it would be easy to say these are brand new because they are. They have not been used. They've been sitting around. Stones don't go bad. These are brand new to the online store in some cases. It would be easy for us to just look at what they're going for right now in most places and charge you that. And it would be a lot more in some cases. But what we do is we use what we paid for them and we use that formula to continue and give you that great price, even during what is now, you know, a pandemic and a possible recession. We're still giving you pre-pandemic pricing in some of these cases. So we hope you enjoy that. We hope that you take advantage of that. And, you know, if you have any questions, you can always send us an email. That's the best way to reach out to us. We used to go with Facebook Messenger and all that. But because we're streaming live to YouTube a lot more often, it's just easier because YouTube doesn't have the messaging system. And even if they did, it's easier to have everything in one place. So if you ever have any questions, please email us. I try to check through the junk mail at least once a week, usually on Fridays. So tomorrow is going to be my junk mail week. So if you sent something and have not had a response, if it went to our junk mail, I'll be checking that on Friday. But we try to respond to all emails within 24 to 48 hours. That's business hours. So for us, that does not include Tuesdays because that's my other job. And it does not include weekends, even though we're in business on weekends. But I try. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, I respond to emails. And even if I don't know the answer, I try and send you a quick email letting you know. But sometimes I just wait a little bit. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but I try not to make it take too long because then you send another one and I'm like, I'm still looking, sorry. So just send us an email if you have any questions about anything we do. If you see something in one of our store tours, or you've seen something on these lives and you say, there was something a long time ago, and you know, all of our lives are available to rewatch, a lot of them on YouTube, most of them on Facebook. So if there is something you're looking for, it's much easier if you can go back to that live and take a screenshot and send it to us. But if you can't do that, you can always send us a description. We'll try and figure out what it is you're looking for. I found a box of really cool artisan stuff in the back of the store, and we're taking pictures, and we're going to be loading that up into the online store soon. And I think what we'll do is, even though I showed them on the live, that was probably over a year ago now, we're going to show them to you again probably on Monday, and give you another look at them, another chance to get them at great pricing. Yeah, they're really cool. And some of you purchased some before. It's Mary Tompkins. She has unfortunately passed away. But these never made it into the online store. I think it was during the transition or close to the transition of our two stores, and they just never got into the online store. So you may not have seen them if you've not been watching for a long time. But if you have, this may be just a recap, or maybe they didn't strike your fancy then, or maybe you used all the ones that you purchased before and you might want some more. It'll be the first time we look at them again since then, which, like I said, I had to dig long and deep into the Facebook Lives to find the video we did, because I got to find out what the pricing is, and what we gave the pricing on that video a long time ago. So we'll be taking a look at those, I think, on Monday. I don't think I'm going to have them ready for you for tomorrow. So we'll be taking a look at Monday on those, I think. And I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow, but we'll find out. Probably tomorrow sometime. I'll figure out what we're going to do. So thank you again for tuning in. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And we'll see you here again soon. All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.